Tensions are rising at Ibrox despite another 3 points on the board, and now one of the club's most outspoken voices has delivered a brutal assessment that's impossible to ignore. Let's break this down in today's video, along with all the other Rangers news from the last 24 hours. There is so much to discuss in today's video, so be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for daily Rangers content. Former Rangers striker turned pundit Kris has sparked serious debate after launching a stinging critique of John Souttar, claiming the defender's confidence is completely shot to pieces following his recent performances. It comes at a strange time for Rangers. On the surface, things look promising. Goals are flowing, momentum is building, and the gap to league leaders' hearts is beginning to shrink. But scratch beneath that, and there are growing concerns about a defensive unit that still looks far from convincing. Speaking on the warm-up, Boyd didn't hold back in his assessment. I think from Rangers overall, they're scoring goals. They are scoring goals, but they do look a little bit vulnerable defensively, I may add. Boyd has been particularly impressed with the developing centre-back partnership of Jigga and Emmanuel Fernandez, who have brought a sense of consistency to the backline before being split up against Dundee United. And for him, the solution is simple. I think it has to be Jigga and Fernandez as the two centre-back pairing from now till the end of the season. That decision to reintroduce Souttar into the side, even in a 4-2 win, has only intensified the scrutiny, and Boyd's most cutting remark was reserved for the Scotland international himself. I mean, John Souttar, I don't know what's happened to him. He looks shot to pieces, confidence-wise. It's a bold and damning claim, one that raises serious questions about Souttar's current role in the team, especially with important fixtures on the horizon. With Falkirk up next, the pressure is now firmly on the Rangers coaching staff. Do they stick with Souttar and back him to rediscover his form? Or do they take Boyd's advice and restore the Jigga-Fernandez partnership? One thing is certain, this debate isn't going away anytime soon. In other news, Nasser Jagga's resurgence at Rangers has quickly evolved from a promising subplot into a central talking point as the season edges towards its conclusion. What once looked like a short-term solution has instead become a compelling case study in development, adaptation, and the difficult decisions that follow success. The Burkina Faso international arrived with modest expectations, but in recent weeks his performances have forced a reassessment, not only of his own trajectory, but of Rangers' defensive planning heading into a crucial summer. Since returning from the Africa Cup of Nations, Jigga has looked like a transformed player. His growing understanding alongside Emmanuel Fernandez has provided Rangers with a level of defensive stability that had been lacking earlier in the campaign. The partnership blends physicality with composure, Fernandez offering presence and assurance, while Jigga brings recovery pace, aggression in duels, and a willingness to step into midfield when required. It is a balance that has allowed Danny Röhl to implement a more progressive defensive line, safe in the knowledge that he has defenders capable of executing his demands. That tactical trust is perhaps the clearest indicator of Jigga's growth. Early signs suggested a player still adjusting to the pace and intensity of Scottish football, but his recent displays have been defined by authority and maturity. His decision-making has sharpened, his positioning has improved, and crucially, he has begun to impose himself on matches rather than simply reacting to them. For a Rangers side chasing consistency, that evolution has been invaluable. However, the reality of his situation remains unchanged. Jigga is only on loan at Ibrox, with his parent club Wolverhampton Wanderers retaining full control over his future. As it stands, he is due to return to Molineux at the end of the season, and that uncertainty casts a shadow over what has otherwise been a highly productive spell in Glasgow. Behind the scenes, Rangers' recruitment structure, backed by 49ers enterprises and figures such as Andrew Kavanagh, is preparing for a significant summer overhaul. Rowe is expected to be supported in reshaping the squad, and strengthening the defensive unit will be a priority. In that context, retaining Jigga appears, on the surface, to be a logical move. He knows the system, has built chemistry within the squad, and is entering a phase of his career where further improvement seems inevitable. Yet the financial reality complicates matters. Wolves secured Jigga on a long-term deal running until June 2030, following a reported £10 million investment. That alone places Rangers in a difficult negotiating position. Even amid speculation in March suggesting a potential £8 million valuation, or the possibility of a purchase clause within the loan, recent developments have cast doubt on how attainable a deal truly is. Wolves' own situation is a major factor. With the club facing the prospect of relegation to the Championship, their internal priorities may shift dramatically. Rather than cashing in, they could opt to reintegrate Jigga into their squad as they attempt to rebuild. A player of his profile, young, physically strong, and now armed with valuable experience, would be a significant asset in a promotion push. That scenario alone could effectively remove him from the market. Adding further uncertainty is the lack of clarity surrounding any formal option to buy. While early reports hinted at a structured pathway for Rangers to secure his services permanently, more recent indications suggest no such clause exists. If that is indeed the case, Rangers would be forced into open negotiations, leaving them exposed to whatever valuation Wolves ultimately set. From a financial standpoint, that is where doubts begin to grow. Journalist Graham Falk has already voiced skepticism about Rangers' willingness to meet the likely asking price. His assessment reflects a broader concern. While Jigga has improved significantly, committing a substantial fee for a player still developing may not align with the club's wider strategy. That creates a delicate balancing act. On one hand, Rangers risk losing a defender who has become integral to their current system. On the other, they must weigh the long-term implications of a sizable investment in a single player, particularly when multiple areas of the squad may require attention. Ultimately, Jigga's situation encapsulates the challenge facing modern football clubs operating just outside Europe's financial elite. Identifying talent is one thing, retaining it is another entirely. Rangers have benefited from Jigga's development, but whether they can turn that short-term gain into a permanent acquisition remains highly uncertain. But that is all for today's video. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. We post all the latest Rangers news every single day, so join our fast-growing community so you never miss out. Thank you. I'll see you in the next video.